welcome to the BFL Netball Show for season 2014, the first of our standalone netball shows, which will appear on the BFL website every Wednesday throughout the season. We've bowed to your requests. You said last year you wanted to see more netball content, you wanted to see a standalone netball show, so here we are, every week, the BFL Netball Show coming at you via your computer screen. My name's Sean Kelly. I'll be the host throughout the year. Joining me as the co-host is the brand new netball coordinator of the Ballarat Football Netball League, Matty Wiltshire. Firstly, mate, welcome to the job and welcome to the BFL Netball Show.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be here, mate. Obviously very exciting to have our own netball show, so everyone hopefully get around it each week and we'll be doing our best to deliver a great show.
We will indeed. And also joining us for our first show, one of netball royalty in the BFL. Let's be completely honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. She was a part of our regional state league netball side that absolutely trounced it in the Central Highlands RSL competition this year. She's also the coach of the Sebastopol Netball Club, Georgia Can. Georgia, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sean.
Firstly, let's talk a little bit about the RSL because it was a fantastic competition once again, and the BFL back-to-back senior titles, of course, going through the season undefeated in the Open, and the 17 and unders also getting up in a fantastic job done by them as well in the grand final. So really, really successful tournament. How did you find playing in it?
Yeah, it was another good year, Sean, for all of us. I think the way that it's structured, I guess, benefits us a little because we play nice and close to home, and we enjoy that. Great group of girls once again, and led by Kate McMahon, our coach, and we had a strong season, and I think we were pretty confident going into the grand final, and we came up with the cup, so that was exciting.
One of the things noticeable about the team is how close you are. Obviously, you all play for different clubs within the BFNL, but just you wouldn't know that from how close you are. You'd think that you're a team that's been playing together for 4 or 5 seasons.
I think the great thing about netball in Ballarat is that you grow up knowing these girls, and you might play with them in other representative sides. So you come across them all the time. And there's a couple of girls that obviously weren't born and bred in Ballarat, but they fit in easily as well, and it's a great group to be a part of, and we're all there because we love netball, but also the friendships that come from that are pretty awesome as well.
Just back to the Sebast Football Netball Club now, so you've got a few new handy recruits this year, one being Erin Atherton and also Rhiannon Banner from up at the Riddle area. So any other interesting prospects you have for the year?
Those two girls will certainly are a great asset to our team. Erin is a very experienced player. She had previously won some premierships with Sebast a little while ago now, and she's just recently had a baby and has come back to play. Sebast was her home, and her family were involved in the club, so it's great to have her back, and she'll really support me in the goal circle as well, so it'll be good to have another strong goaler in there. Rhiannon obviously will hold up the defensive end. She has an amazing athletic ability, and she's very strong, very fast, and her football background gives her that just go at the ball and don't think twice. So she'll be fantastic. We've also got Jessica Carrolls, who's come in. She's from Melbourne way, but she's here for university. She's very versatile centre quarter, and she's speedy and quick and tenacious. So she'll be another asset to us.
So obviously with a few handy new recruits, what are your expectations for 2014 season?
We'd sat down together as a team this year, and we finished a game out of finals last year, and that was a massive improvement for us considering we'd come from the bottom of the ladder. And I think this year, we're aiming for finals. Obviously with the injury of Adriana, she's done her ACL, so she'll need a full knee reco. So losing her out of the defensive line is pretty disappointing for us, and she'll be a big loss. But I'm confident in the other players that they'll be able to step up and cover that spot. But we certainly are looking for a finals finish this year.
Where's your improvement going to come from? Obviously, every team's going to be out there to improve this year. You said you've got to improve that extra game to make finals, or 2 or 3 extra. Where do you think that's going to come from?
I think just having the depth on the court. I think last year there were some people who were playing really well in key positions, but perhaps we didn't have that depth. But also the knowledge of playing with each other. I think that comes, as you spend more seasons working together. And also, I guess we're not starting from scratch either. We've been able to retain well, 90% of our players.
Yep.
So that helps, in going forward with training and game day preparations.
You mentioned Adriana, your sister, of course, her injury out for the season with the ACL injury. How do you cover someone like that, especially someone of her height, against some of the taller shooters in the league, the Mel McCaulays and people like that you're going to come up against this year?
Yeah, she was instrumental in a lot of our games last season. I mean, she was the last line of defence and really saved us. Her basketball background, just allows her to read the play really well. She'd often come out and take a lot of intercepts, and as you said, Sean, with her height, she was amazing, under the ring, getting those rebounds or getting a tap out from those bigger goalers.
Yep.
Look, there's a couple of little things that I've got hidden up my sleeve that I might not reveal yet.
Come on.
Yes, no, I've got, as I said, 100% confidence in the other girls. In terms of height, yes, there may be somebody to come in to fill that spot.
Very interesting, and something to, I suppose, have a look at come Saturday afternoon this week. We'll talk about that shortly, but before we do talk about this week's games, a couple of very interesting awards that we're going to award throughout the course of the season for the netballers this year, Maddie. Firstly, the Stockland Wendouree Player of the Week award will be awarded every week throughout the BFL season. A $25 voucher to Stockland Wendouree and a grand prize at the end of the year. We haven't worked that out yet, but I'm thinking it could be in the hundreds of dollars kind of style vouchers. So a little bit of a shopping spree each week, G, if you're good enough for that, and something at the end of the year. So
no one would say no to shopping, sure.
Correct. Thank you very much to Stockland Wendouree for their fantastic support throughout the season. And it's not just Stockland Wendouree, they're on board with Player of the Week or Month awards. SC Technology Group, a brand new sponsor to the BFL this year, have decided for both football and netball they're going to come aboard with a Player of the Month award, and each month we're going to give out one of these lovely little things, which, as you can see, is a Toshiba touch screen tablet, as my beautiful assistant here helps me out with the display of it. That's you, Maddie. Worth $699. I'll say that again, $699. Every month we will give out one of those beauties to the player, adjudged Player of the Month, 5 of them throughout the year. So some fantastic prizes on offer in the BFL Netball Show this year, Maddie.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see both them sponsors getting around the netball, and obviously some great initiatives to be playing well each week. So definitely be hitting the court hard, the girls will be, especially for the big monthly prize. It's just fantastic to see.
I reckon so. Good work by the sponsorship bloke, whoever he is at the BFL, that's set all these things up as well. So give myself
well done,
apologies
Sean.
as we go along. But let's have a look at this week's games in the BFL's A-grade netball competition. We'll start it off with the game that you're going to be involved in, of course, Georgia. Really good test for you straight off the bat, coming up against Melton, preliminary finalists last year, grand finalists the year before, and they've lost a couple. They've lost Krista Woodruff and Amy Conroy, who've both gone to Boland, but they've well and truly made up for their absence because they've picked up a couple of VNL players. They've, of course, still got Brooke Thompson in defence. They've, of course, still got Melissa McCauley, last year's hot shot in goals as well. So it's going to be a really good test to see where you're at straight off the bat.
And I think that's what we need, Sean. I like to know where we sit in the beginning of the year. And to have a good hit out like this will certainly, as you said, show where we're at. Yes, they've done some recruiting. I guess perhaps it's a little easier for them sitting that's Melbourne's side of Ballarat to be able to pull a few girls. And I think Brooke has taken over at the helm there, and she's obviously done a really good job with their recruiting. We love a challenge, and I think we showed that last year. People wrote us off perhaps, and then I guess kind of came around to the fact that perhaps they shouldn't be. We pushed a lot of teams when they didn't think that we would. So I'm really looking forward to the challenge. We'll be focusing on our game and working on all the things that we've been putting into practice at training. And when you come up against a calibre of players like the girls that will play on the weekend, it's a great opportunity for everyone, and for the supporters, the spectators. It's just a good day all round.
First BFNL netball game on the new courts at Mackie Park this weekend. Maddie, who are you tipping?
I think I'm going to go with a tough one, especially Sebastian's new recruit.
And because you're getting kicked under the
because
table
of
at the
Agility.
moment.
No, that's okay.
No, but I think I will actually tip Sebas for this week. It's just obviously for a couple of new girls that I, especially Banner, who he actually works with us a couple of times in the office, who I know is very keen to get out on the
She's
field.
been telling us how good she is too,
Yeah,
don't you worry.
exactly. So shout out to you, Banner. But it's I think Sebas just will come out flying. Obviously a pretty solid year last year. I think they'll be coming out to really prove themselves this year.
Georgia, we know who you're tipping in this game. Why are you going to beat Melton?
Why are we? I think we've got that desire this season. Nothing's too big for us. We're not scared of anyone. And we will go in as the underdogs, and I like that. strength in our core unit will get us through.
I like the confidence. However, you haven't swayed me. I'm going to tip Melton in this one. Obviously, strength of the players. We know how good Brooke Thompson is. We know how good Mel McCauley is up forward. And as you said, with Georgia out, you may have something up your sleeve that you're not telling us. But until we see that, I'm tipping Mel McCauley with her height to kind of be able to shoot enough goals to get Melton over the line. So now I'm the one getting kicked under the table. Ballarat taking on Melton South. Two of the, I suppose, without being unfair, cellar dwellers from last year. Georgia, how do you see this one panning out?
It's been really interesting this week, Sean, for the fact that I don't know much about Ballarat in terms of how they've shaped up. I think they had a fairly big clean out in terms of some players, key players leaving.
Yep.
So they're a bit of an unknown to me at the moment. And Melton South, look, there's some really standout players in their team. The young goal attack, can't quite think of her name, but she's fantastic. So I'll be tipping Melton South this weekend.
I know who you think of. I'm just trying to think of that name. And while Maddie's giving his tip, Andrea.
Andrea, she's
Ty.
fabulous.
I was going to say, while Maddie's giving his tip, I'll think about that, but I know it. But you still go anyway, mate.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Melton South this week. Obviously, Ballarat are going to be playing a very young side. I think on the weekend got a few 19 players playing their A-grade side, and just I think it's really going to be a good development year for Ballarat, especially losing them experienced players. So I'll be tipping Melton South again.
Probably see Ballarat this year as kind of being where you were last year a bit, Georgia, in that a lot of young players, you're coming from a fairly low base and getting some time and I suppose getting some structures back through the club and some teachings and some disciplines throughout there. It'll be a long year for them. With a young team, you get ups and downs, much like you do in a football team as well. Look, I suppose I'm tipping Melton South just because they're less of the unknown this week.
Yeah, I think for Ballarat too, though, if they're developing those juniors at this point in time, you may not necessarily reap the rewards, this year or the year after that, but you're preparing your club for the years ahead, and that's also really important. So I wish them all the best.
Yeah, you are indeed. Thank you for that. Lake Wendouree taking on East Point. This is going to be an absolute ripper up at Lake Wendouree. The Lakers have done some recruiting over the off-season. They've got Katie Williams over from Bacchus Marsh. They've also got a few from outside the BFL net that they're keeping kind of close to their chest. And of course, East Point, preliminary finalists last year, haven't really lost much over the off-season. We know how good a player Emma Ryan is in defence and Lauren Dew up forward as well. So this is going to be an absolute ripper.
Interesting on lots of facts. They have lost Emma Farrell, Shawnee, who's out.
Of course they have.
But they've also replaced Kate Martin, Cindy Daniel.
Yep.
So there's some really strong players in
in
there. I went actually to watch Lakers and Redan play a practice match last weekend, and it was fantastic matchups. Lakers have recruited quite a tall goal shooter. I don't know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag.
No, please do, because
Sorry, Roms.
all we're going to do is get abusive phone calls from Romsey, the both of us, so that's
Sorry,
fine.
Roms. But just to watch them, starting to come together and how they're going to use her height within that ring will be something that Lakers have not had previously. They had Mel Allen in there, last year, but she, I guess, isn't a goaler. She's more of a defender.
Correct,
It'll be interesting to see how they work with that target, I think. And also, East Point, they're a class act. They're always really strong.
Yep.
They've got a lot of experienced heads now with those girls they've recruited, as well as your Lauren Atkinsons. So hard to tip. I think it'll go down to a goal, Shawnee.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tip Lakers by a goal.
Very good, Matty.
I'm thinking the same way, Shawnee. I'm going to go Lake Wendouree in a very tight one, obviously just with them. Sort of three unknown players that it's going to be very hard to match up on. So the unknown's always a bit scary from an opposition side, so I think they'll just go over the line.
It is. Look, we can't be all tipping the same side every week. I'm going to tip East Point just because I watched East Point a couple of times last year and they play really, really well as a team all throughout the court and they can turn it around for you. They did it in, I think it was the second semi-final. They just turned things around in an absolute blink of an eye to win that game, and it was the qualifying final, they took it away from North Ballarat City, and they've just done a fantastic job with their recruiting, of course, the Lakers, but I just think, you're right, Georgia, it's going to be a really, really close game, and I think East Point just this week. So our other two games for the week, Redan taking on North Ballarat City. Another couple of teams are going to be very interesting this year. Redan have kind of tempered their own expectations throughout the off-season, whereas North Ballarat City have lost a couple of players throughout, but they've also recruited pretty well as well.
Obviously, the major loss for North, Jordan Bibby, their target shooter up front. But I hear her recovery is going well, so we do wish her the best.
Yep.
But, the class of North, you've got Stacey and Gina, and just coming off playing RSL with them, they work so well together. They're very well drilled in terms of how they operate on the court. I think, look, another tough hit out. Redan has also done a bit of recruiting too, Sean.
They have. And Henry comes back to the league.
Absolutely, and we welcome Henry back.
We do.
I'd rather play with her than against her, but that's okay. Look, I'm going to tip North, Sean, just for the fact that I think the McCartan sisters together will perform their magic as they do.
Yep.
So, North for me.
Yeah, North for me as well. I'm thinking that obviously Redan have got the experience. Obviously, Kate's a fantastic coach. We know that they've got the experienced players coming through, but I think North are just going to have that little bit of a class edge on them this week, Matty.
Yeah, definitely, especially from the form that Stacey McCartan is showing, especially in the RSL. She's been winning the league MVP as well as the actual RSL whole league there MVP.
Yep.
So she's got me in some very great form coming into the season, so she'll be hard to stop on the weekend.
I still remember during the final votes of the count for the RSL League MVP, a certain somebody yelling at Stacey saying, "Can I win one? Come on, you've won everything." Georgia, of course, lost to Stacey by 3 votes in that MVP count, and it's kind of frustrating a little bit.
We went up against each other, I think, 3 awards for the RSL. The only one we didn't go up against each other is in the shooting one.
Yep.
But yes, I lost every award to Stacey, but that's okay. I'm happy to lose to her.
She's a very, very good player, and I reckon she'll lead North to victory this weekend. The last game, Sunbury are taking on Darley on Saturday afternoon, and of course, the reigning premiers coming out on court, and from what we've heard, they're just getting stronger throughout the season. They've recruited well. They've got Monique Clark, who was one of the real finds in the league last year, over from Melton South as a defensive player. Coming up against Darley's side that are positive. They're going to be a young side this year. We heard some really good things from Leah Mathy, one of their coaches at the season launch last Friday night, just saying how positive they are, how much they're looking forward to the season, how much they're putting their stock in their youth. Of course, 3 key members of our 17 and under RSL side, Sarah Keith, Caitlin Bewley and Sophie Antonello, all playing with the Darley side this year, and Sarah in particular tasted some A-grade netball last year. So it'll be interesting to watch Darley go about their paces this weekend, but couldn't ask for a much tougher test first up, and Sunbury at Sunbury are going to be a very difficult assignment.
Yes, they are a class act, Sean. They have some very strong players. They are well drilled, well coached. Everything that they do is excellent. And look, as I said before, about Ballarat, I wish Darley the best of luck. It is, I know what it's like. It's a big struggle.
Yep.
But, obviously I hope that the season is one of positive things for them. But certainly Sunbury will notch up a good win this weekend.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm on the Sunbury bandwagon for this one, Matty.
Yeah, Sunbury obviously coming with a lot of confidence for the grand final last year, and also a big pick-up with a new shooter with Catherine Ditcher. I think
Catherine
it is.
Dicker.
That's
Yes.
the one. So
She's making her and Sophie Gunn standing next to each other. That is going to be a good one for
Exactly.
defenders throughout the year. Aren't you glad to play at the other end of the court?
Yes.
So you're tipping Sunbury as well?
Yeah, Sunbury, I think that'll be within about 10 to 20 goals on the tip Sunbury win.
Yeah, I think Sunbury, as I mentioned before, will get this one up. That's the BFL Netball Show for the first week. Georgia, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having
Lovely
me.
to have you in, and of course your expertise throughout the subject has been phenomenal today, so we thank you very much for your appearance.
Thank you, Sean.
And Matt, you'll be here every week, mate. Thanks for jumping on board.
Next week. I look forward to it.
Very, very good. That's the BFL Netball Show for the first time in season 2014. We're back again next Wednesday. See you then.